Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the special Election Day broadcast of the Dan Dawson Show. And I just wanted to get my predictions out there before the polls even started reporting in. So, through my extensive research and polling, I've narrowed it down to one of two people. Either Trump's going to win or Biden's going to win. Either way, though, guess what? The American people win. Now, you're thinking, Dan, if Biden wins, how do the American people win? Well, be patient, young Jedi. I'm going to tell you. So, one of three things can happen in this election. Trump wins by a landslide. Now, Trump winning by a landslide is actually good for the Democrat Party. I don't mean just, his sheer numbers, but I mean he flips the House and keeps the Senate. It's a very real possibility, people. And that's actually good for the Democrat Party. Because all those far left socialists, the Democrat Party will push them completely away. And say, no, your propaganda and agenda doesn't work. The American people have seen through it. We need to go a new direction. And they will. See, they'll come back more to the center. Be like, okay, we support your Second Amendment rights. Okay, we're going to drop our crap gun control argument. Hey, we're going to stop pushing free everything. Really, free housing, free college. Who's going to pay for all this? Free medical? Come on. Come on. That's ridiculous. And if you're a nurse out there, that really ought to really kind of frighten you. Because do you think you're going to maintain your pay level if all medical is free? You're not going to. The reason people in the medical field make so much now is because there's private competition. You find a good doctor, a good nurse, they tend to get paid more because there's competition. When there's no competition, it's going to be a whole new story. So you forget about pay raises, you can forget about the pay you're making now. Little diatribe there. It's like people never get that. Socialize anything is a bad thing. I listened to... I'll get into that on the second one. The second thing is Biden wins in a landslide. And the far left extremists, one of which is his vice president, Kamala Harris, and AOC and the Gab Squad, and Bernie Sanders managed to push Biden far left. Because I saw this FaceTime or whatever it's called, Zoom thing they did the other day. Bernie Sanders and the AOC plus 3 crew, the squad, right? And that's all they were talking was socialism. All they were talking. Then Kamala Harris put the icing on the cake. But their conversation was ridiculous. It was Green New Deal, raises taxes. Free healthcare, raises taxes. Get rid of, nobody needs firearms because they have personal security, so they don't need it. They don't need guns. They don't need to carry a gun. I doubt AOC would know what to do with a gun. Hopefully she doesn't figure out the business end of it. Anyway, but if Biden wins and America gets a true taste of the Democratic Socialist Party's agenda, your schools go unfunded. Your hospitals shut down. You can't afford gas. Businesses leave and go to other countries because you see rich people can do that. They have this thing called money. I know. It's shocking to hear, huh? But businesses pull up. America becomes a giant Venezuela. People are standing in food lines, eating out of trash cans, homeless. You don't think it could happen? Go to any blue city in America. Any city that's been blue for the last 10 years. Look at their homeless population. Look at their crime. Because most of those cities and states have disarmed their citizens. Luckily here in Washington, we have a strong veteran presence. And veterans aren't giving up their weapons. You would have to, some of them would rather under another combat patch, if you know what I mean, than give up their ARs. So, you're putting yourself up against some strong competition there. They're not giving them up. But go to any blue cities and you'll see these things. You'll see homelessness. Look at Seattle, spike in violent crime. They did manage to run a lot of gun manufacturers out of town. tax people out of owning guns. So they didn't outright ban guns. They tried, but the United States Supreme Court overturned them. So what they did was they just taxed the hell out of it. People left Seattle. Boeing's leaving Seattle. Well, so they say. We'll see. But I know a lot of big companies that are leaving Seattle. Look, it turned into Chop Chaz, where half the city's just a hippie love fest. A hippie love fest complete with guns and murder. Because don't forget there were 2 murders down there. And harassment of black people and minorities. Can't forget that part. So America will get a taste of true socialism. And that's going to have America, after that cycle, after that 4-year cycle, voting Republican for the next 5 elections. I guarantee you tonight, if Biden wins and they do push him far left, you will not see another Democrat party or a Democrat president for the next 20 years. I'm 47. That would put me at almost 70 when you see the next Democratic president. Because they'll get a true taste of it and they won't like it. Americans are used to freedom and prosperity, being able to make your own. Kamala Harris the other night said, this isn't about equality. She explained, she goes, equality is where you all start off on the same field. Equity is where you all finish at the same place. So basically what that means to me is if I work 40 hours overtime a week, 80-hour weeks, and there have been times, ladies and gentlemen, where I've worked 96 hours overtime. So let's say I make $5,000. Well, let's say Mike doesn't want to work overtime, and he makes $1,500. Well, you would take some of my money and give it to Mike, so we have the same amount. Then what's the point of me working all those hours if everybody's going to get the same treatment? What is the point of you risking everything, getting up every morning at 5 in the morning to start your own business, or 2 or 3, if they're just going to take it from you and give it to somebody who's sitting on the couch smoking weed and drinking whiskey all day? What's the point? There is no point. So when that income stream dries up, when Dan no longer wants to work 96 hours overtime because Mike's getting half his money, most of his money, what's it worth to Dan? That's the dangerousness of equity. And note, when she said that, that's a direct quote from Karl Marx. That was his mentality. That never leads to a good place. It kills people who actually want to thrive. So America will get a true taste of it. Democrats won't get elected in my lifetime. Not a Democrat president. Guarantee it. The third thing, Trump and Biden could have such a close race and it not be called for weeks that it leads to a lot of social unrest. Now let me tell you why this is actually a good thing for America. Because you see, it's getting to the point to where Don Lemon and Cuomo can no longer get on the evening news and lie about what's going on. Thanks to YouTube and a bunch of other stations, places, Rumble. Now these videos are getting out and people are actually seeing them. You have independent people like me who are talking about them and what I'm seeing on the streets in my or in my neck of the woods. In America, your average American is going to get tired of it, of having their stores looted, being harassed on the streets, not being able to go to restaurants, and then they're going to start fighting back. You already see a little bit of it, and these are Trump supporters who are getting tired of not fighting back, so now they're starting to fight back. So imagine when your average, everyday, mainstream American says, I've had enough, and start shutting things down. And then these kids, you got to think about what's going to happen to these kids. So we won't have to worry about them in the future. Because the Attorney General, the United States Attorney General, has already come out and said, hey, we're going to hit you with federal crimes. You're not getting any bail, and you're going to wait for a very long time. So the rich parents can't bail them out now, see? Right? Oh, yeah. Now daddy can't come and get you because you want to go out, loot, riot, harass, and beat up people, or try to beat up people, you know? Ridiculous. You're going to be facing stiff consequences. So one of those two things is going to happen. Either Trump's going to win and the Democrats push out the socialist. Biden will win. America will get a taste of socialism and realize she doesn't like it and it needs to go. And it may go in a very bloody way. It might not even make it to the next election. I don't know. Or it'll be so close, it'll cause mass riots from the left. And the right and normal people will get sick of it and take matters into their own hands. Also, those young kids on the left, like I said, we won't have to worry about them in 5 years or a couple of years because they'll be sitting in federal prisons. So thank you for watching this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. Hope you enjoy your election night. Hope your candidate wins. Either way, like I said, the future of America looks bright no matter what happens tonight. So thank you. Remember, like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do.